I've already talked about The Mandalorian on a previous episode. If you want to check that out, I have the clip for that up on the P.O. Vincent YouTube channel. You can check that out under the Tele Vincent playlist. So, in that review, I did talked about my feelings on episodes 1 through 4, basically the first half of the season. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the second half. Let's talk about the second half of season 1 of The Mandalorian. Let's just get right into this. I gotta say right off the bat that I'm really happy with this show. I really am. I'm really just because the thing about Star Wars is, and I think I mentioned this last time, under the leadership of, or say ownership of Disney, Star Wars has struggled a lot. There's so many factors going into this. I think one of the factors definitely is, Disney is the owner. They own Star Wars. They own Lucasfilm, so a lot of it goes up to the heads, the people, in charge up there in Disney. Bob Iger, Alan Horn, Kathleen Kennedy, who is the head of Lucasfilm. I think definitely some blame goes on to her. Who a lot of people have to give Kathleen Kennedy shit, but or like, why was this woman put in charge of Lucasfilm? A lot of people got to remember that before she was the head of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy was one of like the biggest producers in Hollywood, working with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg on multiple films. Highly respected person in the film industry. So yeah, no, wasn't surprised when George Lucas put her in charge of Lucasfilm because he had known her for a long time, he trusted her. But unfortunately, it seems that part of what's hurt her in of being the head of Lucasfilm is like not properly having communication with her directors as to what the movies should be, or at least not keeping tabs on them. As throughout all these Star Wars movies, we've had multiple directors come in, come out, all that stuff. So it's been kind of rough for the movies. As for The Mandalorian is so refreshing because I've really been enjoying the series. I just think it's a solid show. Yeah. Let's talk about the second half season. I will be going to maybe minor spoilers, maybe nothing really heavy. When I get into heavy spoilers, I will put up the spoiler warning. So for those of you who are watching on the live stream or watching later on the P.O. Vincent YouTube channel, I'm going to get that spoiler warning ready for when we get into it. But yeah, not spoilers yet. For those of you listening, elsewhere, just thank you. Wherever you're listening, appreciate it. Anywho. So the second half of the season. Now, one complaint I've heard some people make about the show is that the first 3 episodes are basically one story. Each episode ends where the next. Each episode begins where the last one ends off. That's where the first 3 episodes are. And then the fourth episode, the episode where like he goes and helps this village where we meet Gina Carano's character. That's where we get the beginning of kind of like the episodic part, and that continues into the second half of the season where we get back-to-back episodes that are not necessarily linked to the story at the beginning of the show. Some people have taken issue with that. Personally, it doesn't really bother me. I don't mind if we have if it gets a little episodic, we may have some a few fillers, as long as those fillers are fun, engaging, or at least they add something that will later flow back into the main storyline. And I do think we've gotten that a little bit. Not everything was great. I think the first episode that I really didn't really enjoy that much was an episode called The Gunslinger, aka episode 5. And this one, the Mandalorian, he's still looking for work. He's still on the run because all these other bounty hunters are after him to get Baby Yoda. And he teams up with this young bounty hunter, this very inexperienced bounty hunter who's not even part of the bounty hunter league, or the guild, I should say. And he's going after a high profile target. And that high-profile target is played by Ming-Na Wen, who you either know for being Agent May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or you might know her as the voice of the original Mulan animated movie. Either way, it's really cool to see her. The episode, it's probably my least favorite episode of the season. Not that it was horrible. It's just like I'm not sure what really happened. We just introduced some characters. Like the young bounty hunter character, I didn't really care for him. It wasn't the actor's fault. I think he was doing a fine job, but I don't know. I didn't find him that interesting, and I knew something. There's a twist later on in the episode. I won't say what it is, but I kind of saw it coming. But anyway, So yeah, that's probably my least favorite episode. After that, we get back into goodness. We get back into one of my favorite episodes of the season. Right after that, we get episode 6. Well, they're calling it chapters, but I'm going to call them episodes. Episode 6, The Prisoner. I like this one. This is a prison break episode. The Mandalorian is teaming up with some people he's worked with in the past in his younger years. When apparently he was a little more. He wasn't always bounty hunting, we'll say. And we get some cool characters here. We get Mark Boone Jr., who in Sons of Anarchy. We get Clancy Brown. If you don't know who Clancy Brown is, look him up. You know his face. You've probably seen him in something you love. He's in this episode. We also get Natalia Tena, who I forget what she was. She was in the Harry Potter films. I forget what her name was. She was that one wizard that was like romantically linked to Professor Lupin, and she did the duck face thing. What was the character's name? Nymphadora Tonks. Tonks, there we go. Tonks. I'm always screwing up on that. But yeah, so this episode I really like because then they're trying to break somebody out of it's a space prison. It's technically a prisoner transport vehicle, but it's a spaceship, so it's huge, so it's got multiple prisoners, but they're after one particular prisoner. And it's really cool because it reinstates that, Mando, as people tend to call him, he's kind of alone out there. It's basically just him and Baby Yoda on the ship flying around, but he's got to get work. He's got to make money where he can because, he's got to be careful where he does bounty hunting because other bounty hunters are after him. So he's forced to work with people that he doesn't completely trust, even though some of these people he has worked with in the past. There's one other actor in this episode that I was really happy to see. I won't say who because some people, I'll leave it up. But I was really happy to see him because this particular celebrity is somebody I really enjoy his work. I think he's very talented. But it's really cool outfit. I already gave a little bit. It's a guy. But no, it was really cool. And we really get to see the Mandalorian work hard in this episode because, once again, he doesn't trust these people, and these people really don't trust him. They don't like his attitude about things. They get this, and because he's a bounty hunter. He's a warrior. He's done things. But as we've seen in the previous episodes, he does have there's the code of the Mandalorian, the creed of the Mandalorian that he lives by. But he also has his personal code. Because, as we saw in earlier episodes, he has no particular reason to, by the law of the Mandalorians or the creed of Mandalorians or by the law of the Bounty Hunters Guild to protect Baby Yoda, but he does, and we see this continue in because he wants to do this mission in a certain way. But these other guys, these scoundrels that he's working with, these criminals, these murderers, these what have yous. They're down and dirty. They don't care. Mandalorian, he wants to do this straight and clean. So it's not just he has to complete the mission, make money. He's trying to complete the mission in a way that does not go against his code, his personal code of honor, which of course has a lot to do with the being the Mandalorian and all that stuff, the Mandalorian creed. But yeah, no, I think The Prisoner is probably my favorite episode, one of my favorite episodes of the season, and I like the way it ends. I think it was a nice little ending there. But then that leads us into the season finale, which we will now go into spoilers. So if you have not finished watching The Mandalorian, this is where you can click away. But if you have finished watching The Mandalorian, come join me. Let's talk about this. So in the last episode, we get the head of the Bounty Hunter Guild on the... Oh, God, my computer's freezing up on me. There we go. Now it's working now. Okay. So we get Carl Weathers' return as, I can never remember his name, Greef Karga. Greef Karga? Man, Star Wars names. Am I right? Is it like, Greef? Who came up with Greef Karga? Is this like some word where like I spell it backwards or something else? Nope, ain't. Okay, so Carl Weathers sends him a transmission, and surprise, surprise, Carl Weathers' character is still alive. He, last time we saw him, the Mandalorian shot him in the damn chest. So to see him still alive is actually pretty surprising. Apparently, he was wearing some kind of protective armor that, knocked him out, but, saved him from being killed. And he basically makes Mando a deal that if you come back and you help us out, because after he left, after he stole the Baby Yoda and the battle with the other Mandalorians happened, the remnants of the Empire called in more troops, and now they're basically running the town where we started at the beginning of the season. And Greef Karga says, Mando, come back. We're going to work something out. Help us take care of these Imperials, or as they call them in the show, imps. And I like that. I like how there's like a abbreviated slur for the Imperials, because nobody fucking likes them anymore, especially the bounty hunters, because they want to do their own thing, and the Imperials, Just little things are adding to this world, little terms and things like that. I just liked how they call them imps. Anyway, so he calls it back, and the Mandalorian, he doesn't completely trust Grief Karga. Why would he? The last time that he saw him, he was trying to kill him. He's like, yeah, I mean, the Mando, he's down for taking out some Imperials. He doesn't care for the Imperials either, but he knows like this could totally be a trap. But thankfully, along the journey, Mando has made a lot of has made some allies. So he goes back, he gets Gina Carano's Cara Dune to join him. He gets Nick Nolte's Queel, and surprise, surprise, Nick Nolte's Queel found the destroyed IG-11 bounty hunter droid that Mando destroyed in the first episode, and he fixed him, but reprogrammed him not to be a hunter, but to be a caretaker and an assistance on his farm. So Mando doesn't like this at all, because as we've learned throughout the season, he doesn't like droids, and frankly, I don't blame him for not liking droids. As we've seen in his backstory, his entire village and his parents were killed by battle droids from the Clone Wars. So you can't blame the guy for not like digging on droids. But so he has this little crew. He's not down with IG-11, but Quill, he does this little like, I have spoken. And that's it. He's like, dude, I've reprogrammed him. This is going to be it. If I'm coming, we're bringing IG-11. And it's just this cool little crew, because you got a lot of talent in that crew. Like, once again, Nick Nolte. I know he's not really, starring in big feature films anymore, but Nick Nolte's a talented actor, and you got Taika Waititi voicing IG-11. Gotta love Taika Waititi. If you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, I reviewed that a few months ago on the P.O. Vincent podcast, and the clip for that review should be up on the YouTube channel. Jojo Rabbit, the movie he directed in, where he plays a goofy imaginary Hitler. It's a great movie. I love the movie so much. It's so good. If you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, go check it out. Anyway, back to Mandalorian. So they go back and they have this whole thing. They got Baby Yoda, and they're gonna have this plan where they're gonna pretend like they're gonna give up Baby Yoda, but then they're gonna take out Werner Herzog's character, who's the leader of the Imperials. Who's only listed as the client. The character doesn't even have a damn name. He's just listed as the client. They go to do that, but then things kind of hit the fan. Because then a new Imperial leader, played by Giancarlo Esposito, who is known for... damn it. Oh, I'm going to get so much crap. Well, hold on, let me look it up. I had it in my head earlier. There, Breaking Bad. Goddamn Breaking Bad. He's known for Breaking Bad. So he shows up as this character named Moff Gideon, who I'm not familiar with Moff Gideon, but I'm told that he was in the Star Wars cartoons, either the Clone Wars or Rebels. He's in one of those shows. But he shows up with a whole bunch of more Imperial troopers. Because so far, the Imperials that we've seen so far in the show are definitely guys who are like, they look like the remnants. Their stormtrooper armor is dirty or rusty. The weapons are old, and they're in disrepair. But these guys, clean stormtrooper armor, looking fresh. They come in, it's just like, oh shit, things are getting real. Next thing you know, Mandalorian and the group, they're bogged down in the bar. Where the bounty hunters used to hang out, and then these Imperials, there's like a couple dozen of them with their blasters ready to just annihilate them. So very tense scene. Meanwhile, Quill's got Baby Yoda, and he's hauling ass on his like his little like creature getting back to the ship. He gets shot. He gets fucking killed. Now that the Imperials have Baby Yoda, and like this first episode's like going fucking nuts. Like, what the hell's gonna happen, right? Oh man. So anyway, and heads up. Respect to the 501, the 501st Legion, who was a group of Star Wars fans that do Star Wars events. They dress up as the characters. I've seen them before at movie premieres. They come dress up. They make, have fun. They take pictures with other fans and kids. Real great. For the show, for The Mandalorian, they didn't have enough extras, so they called the 501 in. So you usually had Star Wars fans that usually just dress up and do these events in the show playing actual stormtroopers. So these guys went from just like playing stormtroopers at events to actually being full-fledged stormtroopers in a Star Wars media. That was really cool. So 501, I salute you. I salute you for being, I'm sure that they must have been losing their shit on set. That must have been great. Oh, man. Anyway, so part 2 of the season finale begins, and things are looking bad. Quill's dead. A couple of troopers got Baby Yoda. One of the troopers that has Baby Yoda, I believe it's Jason Sudeikis. I think that's what I've heard. I'm gonna look this up real quick, but let me tell you. Let me hold up. Harold Frecker. Yeah, but anyway, there's a scene where like they're punching Baby Yoda because Baby Yoda won't be quiet, and a lot of people got angry about that online. And listen, I don't want to see Baby Yoda get hit. Baby Yoda is fucking adorable. It is adorable. I understand why there's so many memes. I think we're getting oversaturated with the Baby Yoda memes, but I get it. But let's pull it back. Let's pull it back just a little bit. But anyway, yeah, Jason Sudeikis, it was the stormtrooper that punches Baby Yoda when it won't be quiet. A lot of people, and the other guy was Adam Pally. Adam Pally, okay, he's cool, yeah. A lot of people got angry online. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I don't want to see a Baby Yoda get punched, but it was a stormtrooper that punched him. You realize the stormtroopers are bad people, all right? That's like, that was like when, who was that one celebrity that got angry about the X-Men Apocalypse poster where you see Apocalypse choking Mystique out, and it's like this is like horrible. You can't show that. And it's like, he's the villain. This is what villains do. They hit the people we like. That's what they do. Anyway, so episode begins. They're in the crap. You know, they got you got Mando, you got Cara Dune, and you got Karga. They're stuck in the bar. They think they've already got Baby Yoda. Next thing you know, goddamn IG-11 comes out of nowhere. Looks at Stormtroopers like, yeah, I'm this baby's caretaker, so you're gonna need to give him to me. And the Stormtroopers are like, this is some damn battle droid. What's going on here? Then IG-11 goes, pow, pow, takes him out, grabs Baby Yoda. At first, we think he's going to take him back to the ship and, like, close the doors. But no, I guess IG-11, something about this program told him, like, the best thing it could do was to rejoin the group because safety in numbers. So IG-11 grabs Baby Yoda, hops on a speeder bike, floors it into town, dual-wielding blasters, and starts blasting away at all these stormtroopers, and it is awesome. And I was, like, I was like, yeah, IG-11, yeah! I was losing my shit. It was great. He's just blowing away stormtroopers, so now they're all pointing their guns at him. Next thing you know, Mando and Cara Dune and Karga, they're coming out, they're blasting. Mando pulls out, grabs this giant, like, Gatling gun blaster that the stormtroopers brought in. He's looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2 when he had the minigun and he was, like, shooting at all those police. He's just blasting away. Oh, my God. Great action sequence. Friggin' awesome. Eventually, they're able to escape down into the sewers because, the sewers or whatever the hell they are. And Mandalorian, he's trying to find the other Mandalorians that were there. Because we saw in the early episodes, there's like a whole little community of Mandalorians hiding underground. Unfortunately, it turns out that some of them ran and some of them were killed. Because all he finds is like a pile of their armor. The only one left is the armorer. And and a couple cool things happen here. She's staying behind to collect all the armor to melt it down to, hopefully make armor later on. One of the things she does is she finally gives Mando his crest, his symbol as a Mandalorian, and it is the giant rhino creature from Episode 2 that him and Baby Yoda fought together. So that was cool, nice little. I like that. And finally, she gives him his jetpack. That's right, our Mandalorian finally has a jetpack. Oh my God! So they're escaping, and they find this underground lava bed that's connected to the sewer system, and they get in this boat to go down the lava flow. But Mando, with his scanners, sees that there's a whole bunch of stormtroopers waiting at the exit of like this underground lava flow, ready to take him out, blast him away. So IG-11 determines that there's nothing they can do, and that he must now go and self-destruct and take out the stormtroopers. And surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, Mandalorian doesn't want IG-11 to do it. Because earlier in the episode, not only did he protect Baby Yoda, but IG-11 used some medical, like a spray, to save the Mandalorian. He was about to die, and IG-11 gave him some medical attention and saved him. Not only that, but in order to save him, IG-11 had to take off the Mandalorian's helmet, and we finally get to see the face of the titular Mandalorian, played by Pedro Pascal. So, it wasn't too surprising if you know who the actor in the suit is. So you're not too surprised. But it is this moment because, as we've seen earlier in the show, the creed of the Mandalorian is no living person. Once they put on the Mandalorian helmet, they become a Mandalorian. They're not allowed to take their helmet off and be seen by any living person. They can take it off, but they have to be alone. No one can be around to see them. So this is a moment. Nobody has seen this man's face in years. I mean, it says he was a little boy. So this is like a little bonding moment between him and IG-11. IG-11, he's like, I'm not alive, so it's okay if I see your face. I have heard some people say they didn't like how his face was revealed, that they were hoping that it would be saved for maybe a later season or something. But it doesn't bother me because I understand the purpose of it, the moment for him and IG-11. Otherwise, it wouldn't make it sad later when you see he's going to upset that IG-11 is going to sacrifice himself to save the group. Plus, on top of the fact, that's not his face. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, literally that is his actual face, but his true face, when he probably thinks himself in his head, I would assume he sees the helmet. He sees the face on the helmet. The helmet that he wears is his true face. That is who he is. The flesh underneath, that's just underneath. That's just so that didn't really bother me. But anyway, IG-11 starts to step into the lava flow. He walks up. It's a very dramatic moment. Once again, kind of reminiscent of Terminator 2 when Arnold went down into like the molten steel. IG-11 comes out, opens his chest, bomb comes out, blows them away, takes out all the remaining stormtroopers that they didn't kill back in the town. It's a dramatic moment. A lot of tension. It's like, I'm feeling some shit here. I am feeling some stuff here right now. But next thing we know, the danger's not over yet, because Moff Gideon comes flying over in his TIE fighter and he starts blasting down on them, and they don't know what the fuck to do. But there's only one option left. Mando throws on his jetpack and goes at him. It's great. He fires a grappling hook. He gets on the ship. He's on this TIE fighter. There's bombs and boom. He takes out the TIE fighter, and it's a struggle. The Mandalorian just even with his jetpack, fighting a TIE fighter is not an easy task, and he pulls it off, and it's great, and it's awesome. Oh, this season finale was so great. It was so action-packed. You got some emotion there, some drama, some, bringing back all these characters that we've gotten to know over the season. Really cool moment. And at the end of it, Karga tells Mandalorian, hey, man, you just saved this whole town. Now we bounty hunters can come back in, take over it, including the other residents of the town. You are back in the guild, man. Any bounty you want, you get first dibs on it, man. Whatever you want. But Mandalorians said, no, I can't do that, because the Mandalorian armor early in the episode, who, by the way, has her own cool action scene where she kills a bunch of stormtroopers with basically a smithing hammer and tongs. Awesome scene. Fucking badass. Everyone else got blasters or energy blades. No, a fucking hammer and tongs. That's awesome. That is some awesome shit, by the way. Forgot to mention that. But she told him, oh, I know who this Baby Yoda thing is. This is it's a Force user, and she kind of gives him a basic lowdown on the Jedi, that, the Mandalorians fought the Jedi years ago. But, that was then, this is now, and it's up to your duty to return Baby Yoda, find his home planet, return him there. And that's how it ends. It was him taking on the new mission of getting Baby Yoda back to, finding his home planet and getting him back there. Because that's the only place he'll be safe. Because the Imperials are going to keep on coming at him. So that's what Season 2 is probably going to be about. But then, little thing at the end, boom. Moff Gideon cuts his way out of his TIE fighter with the dark lightsaber, or the black lightsaber. I believe the dark lightsaber. Which once again, I never watched the Clone Wars cartoon or Rebels, but I am aware of the dark lightsaber. It is apparently the original lightsaber. I think the plot is somebody stole it from the Jedi Temple, and it's been handed around to a few characters, if my memory serves me correct. So it's a cool moment, because now we have our main villain for the next season set up, and he's got a really cool weapon. And goddamn, I hope next season, I hope Mando finishes off Moff Gideon and he gets the dark lightsaber and it's his weapon. I mean, it'd be so cool. I mean, the Mandalorian already has a bunch of cool weapons, but Mandalorian with a dark lightsaber, come on. You want to see it. You want to see it. I want to see it. All right. So Mandalorian, I've very much enjoyed this series. Now, not everything's been great. Like I said, the Gunslinger episode, I didn't think, it was fine. Well, not bad, but it was fine. But overall, I'm very happy with this series. Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, who, has to really get his emotions and whatnot through mostly his voice, with maybe some physical mannerisms, because he doesn't have, he's got the helmet on, and he can't because a lot of acting is not just what you say, it's how you say it with your voice and how you say it with your face and your body language, all that stuff. But he's somewhat limited because you can't see his facial expression. So Pedro Pascal's been doing a really good job. Everyone, Taika Waititi's IG-11 has been great. Giancarlo Esposito as Moff Gideon, even though he kind of showed up at the end, he did give this intimidating feel and tension when he showed up. Gina Carano of Cara Dune being this badass former rebel soldier. She's really cool in this. Carl Weathers. Emily Swallow, who plays the armorer, she's not in the show a lot, but, I think she does a pretty good job in the few episodes we got her. Got her in just like Pedro Pascal. She's got the helmet on, so she can't emote with her face. The show I think has been, I'm just really happy with this show. It's not a big war. It's not a Star War. It's a small part of the Star Wars universe. It's got its own thing going on here, separate from the big events, a smaller story, and I think that's what makes this so refreshing. I think what Solo was trying to be was being a smaller story in the Star Wars universe. I think a Mandalorian excels at, because it's, once again, we get a whole bunch of new characters, that are very interesting and fun and have their own, motivations and whatnot throughout the season, and we're not having them being misused, like when we go to the movies, John Boyega's character Finn was a great character. The Force Awakens, he's probably one of the best characters of the new trilogy, but he just gets so misused in the other two films, The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. He's a former stormtrooper that is now switched sides. They never did that before, and yet they really don't do anything with that outside of The Force Awakens. They never continue that. So it's just it was a shame, I don't blame any of the actors in the movies for not wanting to do Star Wars anymore. I mean, oh my God. I talked about that on another episode, but yeah. So The Mandalorian, if you haven't seen it, I do recommend you could check it out. You can only watch it on Disney Plus right now. So if you already have Disney Plus, check it out. If you don't watch it, Disney Plus, I think it's only like $7 a month if you get the basic package. Funny thing though, after the last episode of the Mandalorian was released, because they're not releasing all the episodes in one day like Netflix does, they're releasing one episode per week, like normal television. And I agree, and I like that. I like how I'm not like binging. I get time to in between episodes to absorb what happened and think about things. I like it that's spread out like normal television. If anything, apparently after the last episode was released on Disney Plus, a lot of people canceled their Disney Plus subscription because they just care about The Mandalorian. A lot of people canceled it after the last episode, and they're going to get a new account when season 2 happens because they don't care about... I find that kind of funny. It's not, when you think about it, it's not too much of a surprise. But it's funny because Disney's our Disney Plus streaming service. Watch all of our old movies, our shows. You want to watch Darkwing Duck? Here's Darkwing Duck. You want to watch Song of the South? Nobody wants to fucking watch Song of the South. But if it's there, you can watch it. It's there. But everyone's just no, we just care about The Mandalorian. I'm sure that's something that Disney saw coming, that a lot of people were going to unsubscribe, but it's whatever. I'm waiting for the Marvel shows to finally hit. But while I'm at it, I'll definitely poke around Disney Plus and see what else is there. But anyway, Mandalorian. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It is a really good show. If you've been frustrated with what's been going on in the Star Wars movies, I think The Mandalorian will satisfy your Star Wars needs greatly. I think it's a great show. Check it out. Awesome stuff. All right. Let's get Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see a full episode, I live stream over on Facebook. And of course, don't forget to click subscribe and check out some more videos.